Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at a Montana replay. In this replay we are going to be doing some quite fantastic things, at least I hope, and I guess you guys will find that out throughout the replay. But to start off, well, like I said, I'm playing in the Tier 10 American battleship that will soon be getting a buff, at least according to the dev blog, but I'm also playing with my buddy Megadude2, who's in the Des Moines, and then Sea Raptor 000, he's playing in the Haragumo, and he is from the clan Kraken. Now, with that being said, we are playing on the map Sleeping Giant, and typically an A push isn't always the best idea, and I've seen more teams than not kind of congregate towards C, and that's kind of what I'm going to be doing here. And well, we kind of have we kind of have a good lineup for it too. So opening salvo on the Musashi, well, it's from 22 kilometers away. I'm not expecting this to hit at all, but if anything does, well, that would just be wonderful. So kind of in the meantime here, while I'm going to be shooting the Shima and hopefully doing damage to the Shimakaze, I'll go over my captain perks. So, of course, you can kind of mix and match how you like, but, you know, nonetheless, this is kind of the build that I was running, and I thought I'd mention also that I'm running Halsey in this build as well, and, well, that might come into play a little bit later. But for my captain build, I am running, what is it, a priority target, then I'm running Adrenaline Rush, of course, because I love that perk. Then I'm running Superintendent. You can see that from the 5 heals. Concealment, AFT, and Manual AA. And again, that's not the most ideal build for, let's say, survivability, but for shooting down aircraft, well, it's pretty effective. And then my last point, for this replay, I don't actually think I have it enabled, but, I mean, you might as well put it into something like Expert Loader, in case you come across maybe, let's say, a Bowen Yamato that is super stubborn and will not turn out. Speaking of turning out, well, will we be able to make this turn? It's rather close there, boys and girls. We'll have to wait and see. But for my modules, well, it's pretty straightforward. If you do have spotting modification, I don't believe I have it in this replay, but if you do have spotting modification, I would recommend that for your first slot. Then your second slot is kind of up to you. I mean, I just pretty much always choose damage control, except for things like destroyers, for example, or cruisers, but for battleships, it's almost always damage control. Then AA range. What's next? Obviously damage control. Again, you can actually probably do steering gears in the Montana if you so wish. That way you can play more, you can be a little bit more maneuverable, but in the long run I think that having that extra survivability does help. And then concealment, and then of course accuracy. Pretty standard Montana build. Montana build has not changed for quite some time, which is kind of disappointing in my opinion. I do think that the Montana builds need to be it needs to be a little bit more diversified. For the most part, it's like 1 or 2 builds. There's no real diversity, especially with the modules. You know, you don't get any benefit from choosing anything other than pretty much AA and accuracy. Now, I know some people do like to run the reload, and that's fine. I actually used to be a big proponent for the reload. I thought it was actually a really good module for the Montana. Now for the Iowa, I thought it was completely different, that you really needed the accuracy on the Iowa, and I think you do, and the argument comes because of the that extra turret that the Montana gets over the Tier 9 American battleship, the Iowa. Those 3 extra guns, well, you never know, sometimes those can be citadels, and that's kind of why I'm pretty hesitant on saying that you have to run, let's say, accuracy on the Montana, because reload, you can make it work. You do have to get, I would say, a little bit closer, and you can't necessarily snipe as much with the reload module. But you know, if that's kind of how the playstyles vary a little bit. So like, you know, kind of do whatever you want. I've been running the accuracy module for quite a bit, and well, I've been enjoying it, deleting cruisers left and right. Unfortunately, we haven't been doing much of that here, and really unfortunately, the replay has started off rather slow. So there's going to be a little bit of period here where I'm just kind of being patient and you know, trying to reposition and doing all those battleship things that require you to be active and on the move. That's one of the most important things for a battleship, is to stay on the move and always put yourself in advantageous positions. So, like I see here, if we look on the minimap, I'm not going to pause it because, again, this is a little bit slow, but these two Montanas, we're never going to catch them. What am I going to do? Unless they sit full broadside like that or like that, I can't really do much to them. So, what am I going to do? I'm just going to ignore them. Instead, turn my focus towards the guys at A. And my theory here is, well, we're going to have a couple battleships here, and then hopefully I can get a flank around down to the south of B, and then these guys are put into an awkward position where they either have to turn out and take a chunk of damage, and possibly getting deleted from me if you're the Moskva, or you know, kind of having to angle to both and dying rather a slower death than expected. And so that's kind of the ultimatum for these guys, and well, that's the key thing about being a battleship, is creating crossfires. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, and that, you know, kind of applies to all ships. But when fighting things at tier 10, when you're bow on, or fighting things at tier 10 while they are bow on in at least an American battleship, is very, very frustrating, because you can only do so much, and that's kind of where the that's kind of where the expert loader and HE idea comes through. And well, as I was speaking about earlier, either they had to turn out or they had to go in, and well, I'll take the dev strike on that Moskva any day. He probably deserved it. So always staying mobile and getting putting yourself in good positions is always key. And you know, like I said, I kind of put myself in a position where initially I didn't really want to change to Montana, so I had to reposition, and well, it worked out for me there. So I'm going to keep pushing towards B, and unfortunately Sea Raptor did die to, I believe it was the enemy Kagero, or I could be mistaken. Maybe it was the enemy Shimakaze. No, it was the enemy Kagero, and unfortunately he goes out a little bit early. Fortunately though, I am, well, still rather healthy, and Megadude, well, he's seen better days, but you know, for Des Moines, you can do a lot on 20k HP, especially with all these islands, and that's part of the reason why I think C is more popular than let's say A, is because things like Des Moines and Minotaur, they can utilize these this large amount of island cover here and use it to their advantage. And here we go, Musashi broadside. How many citadels? 2. Not bad, not a bad shot at all. We're up to 115k, and that possibly could have been another, should have been maybe 2 or 3 citadels. However, I guess maybe my aim or RNG didn't quite agree, and I'm kind of aiming here for the middle belt, and as soon as he starts to angle in, that's when I'm going to start wanting to aim for the cheek. And well, when you aim for the cheek, that means you get lots of citadels, and that's kind of why, well, I probably should have aimed more for the cheeks there, and well, that salvo wasn't nearly as impressive as the first, but I'll still take the 12k damage nonetheless. I mean, he's in a bad position now. He can only heal only so much of that HP that he lost from me, and maybe I can just snipe these, snipe that cheek right over the island. Let's see if we zoom in. We do, and no cheek citadel. But that's okay. We're going to be pushing into B, and I just want to mention something here. We know that the Minotaur is here because there's smoke. And we know that maybe a Gearing or possibly a Minotaur is there. But regardless, I'm just going to keep going on my course. And if I do get spotted, I do get spotted. There's not much I can do about it. However, well, I'm shielded from these guys by this island, and from Torps I'm somewhat shielded from this island to an extent. I would say I'm in a pretty good position to support B if anyone decides to wants to hop on it, like possibly our Benson, who's, I don't know what he's doing, but nonetheless, if he so wanted to, he could jump on B at any point. Same thing with the Shimakaze. Now, I get spotted by that plane, and I see a Montana, well, relatively broadside. Looks like he's turning out rather quickly, and that means that I'm going to, should have adjusted my aim a little bit better than I did, and that's why I get those two non-penetrations and, well, 2 ricochets and 1 non-penetration. However, he's going to possibly make a mistake here, and, well, he's going to want to turn back in. He doesn't want to kite away from enemy battleships, and I'm going to realize this and just aim rather perfectly here, or so I hope. And just waiting, and I'm aiming slightly under his turn. So wherever his turn is, like wherever the water line on his bow is, I'm aiming slightly under that so that I can actually hit right on his citadel. Unfortunately, I aimed a little bit too high. Obviously, you have to change the depth of your shot depending on the distance, and, well, there I overled quite a bit, and that's why a lot of my shells actually ended up in overpens. Pop my spotter plane here on this Des Moines. He's going slow. He looks like he's maybe speeding up. My shells are going down range. Let's see what I can't pick up on him. Shells are looking great, anticipating his shot perfectly, and no citadels. Now, I honestly think that RNG screwed me over big time there. I think that should have been a full health deletion for the most part, and I think that Des Moines got extremely lucky. However, let's see if we can't trade our luck on that Des Moines for the Montana, and, well, let's see what we got. 3, 2, 1, and he's dead. 25k down. And, well, we're in a good position here. It maybe wouldn't look like it, but we're actually in a really good position here. I would actually rather be a little bit more angled, so angled like this. That would be a little bit more ideal, at least in my opinion. That being, for that reason, I can, if this Musashi decides to come out, I can kill him. Or if this Montana decides to turn broadside, which it looks like he might be doing now, I can do that. And same thing with this Montana here, where I just shot over the island. Can I get it all over the island? Oh, baby. And, oh! I do pick up a Confederate there with that 1 citadel, and I believe it was like 30k, 28k, something like that. I missed the actual numbers. I was too busy looking at the the fireworks launching from my, well, I guess smokestacks and deck. But that is one of the specialties of Mr. Halsey, is that when you reach a Confederate, you do, I believe, gain an extra consumables, and if you don't, then it's either you get 2 things with Halsey. I mean, you obviously get all the fancy special effects or whatever, but there's 2 achievements. You get Confederate, and I believe you get an extra consumable, and you get a double strike. That means you get like a 10%. Some percentage reload advantage or buff, and then also same thing to concealment. I think it's yeah, just don't quote me on that, because I'm actually not sure. I probably really should know that. And again, this Des Moines gets super lucky, both with my dispersion and getting I would say a rather lucky bounce there at the end. But we're sitting at 220k damage, which is not by any means bad at all. But we're going to have to push back into B and start maintaining possession of it, because the gearing is pretty close to C, and, well, the Minotaur, don't know where he's gone off to. Based on his last known location, I would expect him to come around here, and with our Montana dying, this is getting much closer than I certainly anticipated. Now, with that being said, what is our Kerfus doing? That's why he's running away. So we're effectively, we have the same amount of ships, and I want to conserve as much HP as possible, knowing that there are, well, 2 battleships still left and 1 destroyer. Hopefully our Hindenburg can kill that Fletcher, or that Gearing, or someone. Looks like the Hindenburg actually does pick it up. And all we need is just a little bit more time and a little bit more mistakes by the enemy team, and we can see that here through this Minotaur, who I don't know what in God's name he is doing, but I will certainly take the Citadel for 28k. But since I didn't quite delete him, that means that he does get his heal off, which means slightly more damage for me. And at this point, well, like I said, hopefully he can make another mistake and start shooting again. Oh, like he is there. And Sneaky actually gave me an ultimatum when this was actually played live on stream. He said you have to get 200k in a Zao, blah, 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 blah. I think I already mentioned that. And I said, Sneaky, but what if I get 300k in my Montana without ramming? He said, okay, deal. And, well, so that's at this point what I'm trying to do here. There's enough HP on the board still for me to be able to snipe that 300k. All I need is 32k more, and this Montana is fairly broadside, and I'm aiming right under the front turret, so like right here, hoping to go in through this weakly armored bow and actually into the Citadel there rather than going through the main belt. But I do manage to pick up another 16k on him. That Des Moines is spotted with 4k. Let's see if I can't finish him off for a 3rd kill. Maybe I can get a 4-goal haul. Unfortunately, my dispersion and my shells were not quick enough. And again, I was not able to pick up that kill. But that's okay. Hopefully I can still get on the Montana. All I need is 15k more to beat the 300k damage mark. And all I need him to do is angle just a little bit more. Try and get his back guns off on me. But unfortunately, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to aim at the upper armor belt, and I only get 6k damage. That was a pretty exciting end to the replay with a few very nice shots there at the late to mid game. And I really did enjoy this replay. However, I wish we were able to get some more pens on that Montana. Maybe if, let's say, we were in the Yamato, for example, we would have been able to just overmatch his bow and get those citadels, or at least get some pens there at the end to possibly break 300k. But nonetheless, it was still a very nice replay, and I think it showcased some very nice positioning and where to kind of position yourself in the Montana to be most effective. You know, like I said, was creating cross shots and giving yourself angles to work with. That's the other thing too. But we did manage to pick up a Confederate devastating strike. It should have been 2 devastating strikes on that Des Moines as well, but we didn't quite get that, and a high caliber to finish out the replay with 2 kills, 8 citadels, assisted base capture, and 291,000. We weren't quite close enough to the 300k mark, but nonetheless, it's still a very, very nice replay, and we can kind of see that here with the 3,201 base XP. Megadude fared pretty well, 1773 base XP for himself and 3 kills. And Sea Raptor, unfortunately, he did die rather early. And it's a bit unfortunate because the Hirogumo could have really excelled in this matchup with all the battleships, but he didn't fare too bad. Let's just put it there. So the detailed report, well, it was almost all AP with the exception of 5 main secondary battery hits, and for the most part, I guess this title should be called Sniping Montana because we didn't really lose all that much damage, which, I mean, to be honest, it's not the most ideal thing. I would love to be, using almost all my HP every single game, but some games you do have to sit back a little bit more and be a little bit more cautious, and that's kind of why I was throughout this replay, because there are so many battleships, and if I got myself into a crossfire, I knew I would be punished every single time. But even so, at a tier 10 matchup, we did still manage to nearly break 600k credits, which hey, sooner or later we can start buying some new ships like the British destroyers. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something as well. If you did, leave a like, and you know, feel free to leave a comment as well. And by the way, guys, if you didn't catch our post, which we did post for the first time, I believe a couple days ago, we are doing a stream this Friday at 7 p.m. And so yeah, it's going to be the BIA crew. We're going to be streaming live on YouTube and Twitch as well, but YouTube mainly because of your great support, and we've been able to reach 500,000 views over the last couple years, and we really do appreciate the support. So be sure to tune in for the stream, and if you'd like, we're also doing a giveaway. So to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is, well, comment on the post. If you go to our YouTube page and the community, just leave a comment there, or alternatively, while we are streaming, we can you can leave a comment there, and we'll enter you into the drawing. And this is NA/EU only. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. So be sure to enter into that. So without further ado, guys, enter in there. Hope you like this video. Have a nice day. See you guys.